I was placed in Tanegashima Island in Kagoshima Prefecture, which is behind the islands behind me, from 2012 to 2016. And tonight I'm going to tell a story about my experience participating in the town karaoke competition during our town's rocket Matsuri, which, as I described before, we were where the rockets are launched. So our Matsuri is called the Rocket Matsuri. But so anyway, I'll get started. So when I arrived in Japan in August of 2012, I jumped right into the karaoke scene. And within a week of arriving in my town, I was already belting out tunes. And by the end of the year, I was singing a Beatles song in front of the entire town hall at the town hall Shinnenkai. When, unbeknownst to me, I had no idea this was going to happen, but one of the male town hall employees came up to the stage and he started stripping out of a Santa Claus suit in front of everyone, including the mayor, while I was singing. But I think that's another story for our next Mothra, our Shinnenkai Mothra. But this is about the Rocket Matsuri. So when I was approaching my first summer, the posters for the Rocket Matsuri started to go up. And I noticed that there was a event called the Noto Jimon Daikai, or the karaoke contest. And I immediately knew I wanted to participate because I love karaoke so much. I started to ask around about the event and people kind of warned me, it's really competitive. Some of the singers are really good. But I just thought it sounded really fun, so I wanted to participate anyway. So before I actually signed up, I actually had to pick a song. And I was kind of debating whether I should do a Japanese or English song. Like, I know a lot of the Japanese people that I did karaoke with, they love listening to English songs, especially the Beatles. You Can Never Go Wrong with Them, or John Denver. But in the end, I decided to challenge myself and do a Japanese song. And I wasn't really sure how to go about picking a song. So I asked the wife, who spoke really good English, of one of the local bar owners. I talked to her about it and I said, can you help me pick out like a Japanese song that would be really good to sing at the Noto Jimon Daikai and the Rocket Matsuri? And she thought about it for a couple nights, and a couple nights later, she handed me this piece of paper and she said, sing this song called Umi Sono Ai by Kayama Yuzo. And so I went back to my room and I looked it up on YouTube, and it was perfect. It's kind of like a slow ballad, and as the name suggests, Umi Sono Ai, it's a song, it's like a love song, like a love ballad to the ocean. And I thought it fit my voice really well. So I decided that was going to be the song I would do. So I submitted my application at the town hall. I made that my song. And this song, it's kind of like Kayama Yuzo, the guy who sings the song. I would say he's kind of a cross between like Wayne Newton and the Beach Boys. He was kind of a little older. He's kind of a bit of a heartthrob to like women from like my mom's generation. And so whenever I mentioned his name to like the older tea ladies at the schools, I don't know if anyone remembers those, they always kind of swooned a little bit. Oh, you're doing Kayama Yuzo song. So I thought I picked a really good song with the help of my friend's wife, the bartender. I forget her name now. I was trying to remember her name. But anyway, I had to learn the song. So I had about 2 months to learn the song, but I was pretty busy like the end of the school year. So I didn't have a ton of time, but I watched it on YouTube a few times, and I tried to sing along on YouTube in my house. But there wasn't really a karaoke version on YouTube. So I was just kind of singing along with them, which is a little bit easier when you have someone to sing along with. And I got really busy and I was singing in my house, but then like a week before the event, I had not sung it once in karaoke because I didn't want to sing it out in town because I wanted to surprise people, So it was coming up on the event. I was getting really nervous about a week before. So the night before the karaoke contest, I actually drove by myself to a small like karaoke box bar in the town next to me. And I went inside and I got a booth by myself for like 2 hours. And I sang the song like over and over again, probably like 30 times. And I was the only one there. And when I came out at the end of the night, the woman, the mama-san who worked at the karaoke box place, she looked at me like I'd grown like rabbit ears. She was like, who is this foreigner I've never seen before? They came in on a Wednesday night in this karaoke bar on this little island in Japan and sang the same song over and over again 30 times in a row, the Kiyama Yuzo Umisono Ai song. But I had to get my practice in because I was super nervous, and it was the night before and I was kind of cramming. But actually after about 25 times to sing the song, I did it pretty good. I could get through the whole thing pretty much with making no mistakes. So the next day was the contest, and I want to show you guys something that I found the other day. This is like a note from oh shit, I have to turn off my background. It's kind of hard, but anyway, this is a note from my teacher. She like typed out the lyrics for me so I could follow along. It was really sweet. So everyone was super supportive. Yeah, here it is. This is a better view. And you can see this little note by her. It says, "Dear David," let's see if I can get it. There it is. "To David, please enjoy singing contest from Nozomi Sensei." It was like the sweetest thing in the world. So that was kind of a little boost of confidence. So on the day of the actual competition, I arrived about 15 minutes early, and I was the first person to arrive. And some of my students started trickling in, and there was about 3 or 4 of my other students that were in the kind of the participants area, but there were no other adults. And about 5 minutes before the contest started, I realized I was the only adult that actually signed up for the contest. It was going to be me competing against like 3 or 4 of my students ranging in age from like 8 to 15. And I almost pulled out of the contest in the end. I was like, I'm going to be the only adult up here. And I'm also like the non-Japanese person. I'm just going to like stick out like a sore thumb. And it's going to look like I'm competing against like my students. And 2 of them were like twins. They were like 9-year-old twins, and they were the cutest like little girls you'd ever seen. So I was actually a little disappointed. I was a little upset, and I actually thought about storming off, but I was like, you know what? Let's just have fun with it, you know? So it's time to sing. I got up on the stage. There was this town festival is huge. Like, my town isn't very big. It's like 6,000 people, but I'm sure there was at least 1,000 people watching. It's like everybody goes to this festival. So there was a lot of people out there. I sang the song, and I would say I pretty much nailed it. I did it really good. And then my students went, and they did really good too. They did so good. But then like the next part was, it was a taikai, a competition. So they had to like judge a winner. And so there I was, like, and the prize was actually pretty significant. It was actually like $300 in town, like cash that could be used at restaurants in town. So yeah, it was a significant prize. And I was like, I don't want to win the prize for my students, you know, like this is, and I didn't know if there was a kids and adult division. I was so confused. So they were announcing the winner, and they said the winner of the karaoke Norochiman Daikai is Debito LaCharite, which is me. And I was so embarrassed because I was the only person that actually participated, and I felt like I was taking candy from my students, who are the only other participants. But thankfully, right after that, they said, and now the kids prize. So fortunately, the kids also had a prize. So I was the only adult participant, and I won the adult prize, which was $300. And it was really fun. Everyone was like, the next day at work, everyone was super congratulatory. Actually, my neighbors, the next day, my neighbors came up to me and told me they could hear me practicing in the house for the last 2 months. And they thought it was really funny. But then I was totally down to do it the next year. But sadly, the next year, they did not have a Norochiman Taikai in the Matsuri, I guess because nobody participated. And that was my first year, and I was there for 4 years. They never had a Norochiman Taikai again. And I don't know if they've ever had one since. So until I hear otherwise, I consider myself the last Norochiman Taikai winner of Minamitane. Thank you very much for listening to my story.